So thank you, and I appreciate you for joining in on the first show, Kicking Depressions Ass. Now, this took a lot. I was a little nervous on doing it, so I stalled out on it for a minute. I've been suffering with depression a little bit all of my life. I push, I fight, and it's a lot of challenges that I've overcame from pushing and fighting. But that's all I know how to do. That's all I know how to do is push and fight. And the one thing that I never pushed and I never fought for was myself. I know that sounds crazy, but it's the honest to God truth. I never fought for myself because since I was younger, I fought for so many other people. And it wasn't by choice, it was the life I was dealt. And I'm not complaining about it. I used to, but I refuse to complain about it anymore. I believe that God put me in these situations, in these trials, in these tests that I had to go through, the hurt, the pain, to make me the woman that I am today and to continue to fight. You know, each test that I've been through, I used to cry about it. I used to be like, what? And moan and mourn in it for weeks, sometimes months at a time. Just going into these deep depressions, over the years. And a few times it got bad up until the third time I tried to take my life. And I noticed because I had to fix it. I had to find the root to the issue of why I was feeling so down, so low, and so weak. And I know I'm not a weak person. I'm a fighter. So it was mentally what the hell is going on with me? I can't control it. I can't shake it. I don't want to be around nobody. Leave me alone. I don't care what you're saying. And then some days I'm good. And then I start noticing, I start having anxiety attacks. It just started getting bad. But I knew, like I said, I knew that day it was time for me to find the root of the problem. And it was me. It was me the whole time. I'm depressed because I won't let the past go. So I want you to check this out. Take a few minutes to read it. Being the outcast hurts. Hurt can paralyze you because you're broken and will not let go of hurt, abuse, molestation, leading to anxiety and depression. Free yourself. Admit and accept your suffering. After reading that, I know it was a lot to intake. So I'm here to help you take it all in. So, being an outcast, it definitely hurts. Yet, I realize being the outcast has a cause and an effect of your situation in itself. So I had to sit down and I had to really think. I had to talk to God because he plays a big factor in it. You have to get spiritually connected and grounded. So after I realized I'm the outcast of my family. Okay. So what's the root of me being the outcast? So I had to go back. I had to go back to my childhood. My childhood where it hurt. Okay? And I realized I became the outcast the day I ran away from my accuser. The day I ran away from the man trying to touch on me that has actually been touching on me since about I was 5 or 6. And that day, as I thought back to it, to think of the root, and the root can hurt when it's being pulled and tugged on, you know, I realized I changed my life because I stood up to the man who's been molesting me since I was 5, right? And I ran. I ran out the house. And I ain't turned back. Like around 7 or 8, this is when this happened. And for 4 years, I had been being touched on. Nobody knew it. And I became the outcast the day I told this man no. I pushed away from him and I ran. I ran out of the room and down these steps. And when you're running down the steps, it's the door. And as I'm opening up the door, he comes out of the room on top of the steps. Throw the shoe. Smack me in my face. I leave out. My family members are known, they, want to know why. And I was too ashamed to tell them. I was uncomfortable in the house because I was being touched for so many years. But I had to face it. I had to get to the root. And the root hurts. And it's okay. It's okay. Because it wasn't my fault. It was part of my story that I've been scared to tell for so many years. So back to being an outcast. So that day, I became an outcast because I didn't tell my family. And my mom's boyfriend was touching me. And because I didn't tell my family, and I just told them one part, that he threw a shoe at my face. So like I was saying, once you find the roots of being the outcast, you find the root, it's going to hurt like hell because you pulling at it. You pulling at your root. You pulling at it because you never faced it. It's time for you to face that root. Once you face the root, you have to acknowledge the triggers around the root. My triggers around my root was my family because I felt like my family neglected me. You know what I'm saying? I felt like my family was the reason why I never had a childhood. Not realizing the root. I never let them know I was being molested so they can love me. So now we get to the part of freeing yourself. Breaking free, breaking the chains. I had to free myself and realize I've been blaming others all my life for the decisions I made. Just because I didn't know no better, neither did they. So I had to free myself from blaming other people for me not having a childhood. For me looking for love and acknowledgement and acceptance in all the wrong places. I had to break myself free and stop blaming everyone else. I had to hold account for all of the mistakes I made and understand that they weren't really mistakes, because I really didn't know better on making them because I was so young. I didn't have the knowledge, I believe that it was just my journey. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had to really acknowledge and understand that each test that I've been through has been nothing but a crutch to be able to walk with enough support to the next level. And the only way I was able to do that is to face my biggest issue was myself. Depression, anxiety, it was me. My head, you know? And I never once got to love Davonya because I was so busy trying to fit in and love everybody else with their problems and their issues. And I never ever realized I had to help Davonya before I helped anybody. And this actually feels so good, being able to let it out and share my experience of how I found my root. So I hope that this first episode of Kicking Depression's Ass help you start on your journey. I'll see y'all next week. Have a blessed day, and understand that God will never put anything on you that you cannot handle. God is your strength,